Well. How we doing? Right? We having a good day? It's beautiful outside today, I'll tell you what. It's not like November, I'll tell you that much. But anywho, so today I watched a live Mike Vapes live. He was in New York. They tried to put together some rally. Times got changed. There wasn't many people there. But it was because today the city of New York is voting to ban flavors, e-liquid vaping flavors. This shit's getting out of hand, man. And they want to put like a 75% tax on stuff. Like, I don't get it. All right. So here's the thing: do you want to tax it and make some money, or do you want to ban it? Because you can't get both, right? Let me explain. So they want to ban the flavors, which is 90% of what people are buying, maybe even more. Because I mean, when you take away the hardware, only thing that's left is the nicotine e-juice or some e-juice without nicotine. And I don't think anybody's really addressed that. Like, so as long as there's no nicotine in it, can they still sell it? And then you can add your own nicotine to it, and then it doesn't really matter? Like, this is what I don't get, because they keep talking about nicotine e-juice. Well, if that's the case, you know there's going to be workarounds around it. People are going to figure out a way to get liquid nicotine. They're going to buy a bunch of e-juice, put a couple drops in it, sell it for way more money out on the streets. The bottle says 0. Like, hello? But anyway. But then you go ahead and add this ridiculous tax to what's left. The 10%. If it's 10% of what's left. Doesn't make sense to me. To put that in another perspective, that would be like the government saying we're banning gasoline cars. No more gasoline cars, right? If you want to drive, you have to drive electric or ride a bike, right? Or a hybrid would be okay, I guess, right? Because they're electric and gas. They get a lot of, you know what I mean? We're banning all gasoline cars. If you can't get at least 60 miles to a gallon, you can't drive it. But we're going to add a 75% tax on gas. So you're taking away 90% of the market and taxing what's left. So yeah, you'll get those people that are going to buy a gallon or two for their lawnmower, buy a little bit for their four-wheelers, maybe the motorcycles. Maybe they don't add diesel to that. Maybe they say diesel's okay, but it's like, how do you plan on making money off that tax if there's nothing left to buy? It's stupid. Like, do one or the other. Either tax the fuck out of it and leave it out there, because nobody's really going to want to buy it that much anyway, because if you're taxing it that high, nobody's going to have the fucking money. Like, I still think it's a little pricey to be buying a 100 ml bottle of juice at $35 to $40. Then you're going to add this 10% tax. It's going to, or 10-cent tax per mil. So 100 mils, what's that, $10? So you're talking another $10 on top of that. Now you're paying $45 to $50 for a bottle. What's a 100 ml bottle last? Right? You're spending $150 for every 2 weeks if you're buying 3 bottles, and if those 3 bottles last you 2 weeks, depending on how you vape and what you vape. Like, what the fuck, man? But hey, you'll be making money. Or you're still going to push a lot of people to cigarettes because they're not going to be able to afford it, or they're not going to want to pay it. Or you just ban the fuck out of it and don't tax what's left. Because either way, you're not making any fucking money. Either way, you're not doing anything good. Either way, you're pushing people back to deadly, combustible cigarettes. Because that's really what they want, right? That's really what they want. This is the same government that introduced crack in the ghettos back in the 80s, right? The same government that was flying in cocaine, right? That's that. Like, I used to think, like, when the CDC came out with stuff, and they would say stuff where the FDA came out with stuff. I was kind of fishy about the FDA. Like, the Food and Drug Administration will okay bullshit medicine, but they don't know with fucked up side effects. Like, okay, so our FDA okays Chantix, right? Which causes depression, which causes mood swings and suicides. Proven that this stuff will give you suicidal thoughts. That's okay. But a handful of people in 10 years die from vaping that has nothing to do with e-cigarettes? And that's not okay? Like, get the fuck out of here, man. Like, the world is so twisted. And it's all about the money, and everybody knows it. Everybody's saying it, but nobody wants to fucking listen. And the politicians don't want to listen because guess what? Election year is coming up. People are hitting the campaign trail. They need money. Where are they going to get it? From the lobbyists? From these super PACs? Right? Fucking Bloomberg's like, oh, look, I'm a billionaire. I'm going to join the race now. And I'm going to take away... This motherfucker wants to ban everything. Everything. You name it, you love it. He wants to ban it. He's going to ban guns. He's going to ban vaping. He's going to ban fucking sugar. Like, and honestly, I don't need the government raising my kids. Like, really, they've already made it difficult for us to raise our kids in a way, right? You can't yell at your kids too much. You can't discipline your kids in a certain way. Like, if you smack your kid on the ass more than twice, they're gonna put you in jail. They've made it easy for the kids to say, hey, he beat me. And that's all they gotta say. Whether you touch that little kid or not, and it's your own fucking kid. Whether you disciplined them or not, they're still going to do an investigation. My son had a rash on his neck one time, a fucking rash, right? Later that day, he gets home from school. I got children's services in my house for a rash. Took him to the doctor. The doctor said it's a rash because his teacher thought it looked like it could be a bruise, maybe. Like, this is the kind of bullshit that you got to deal with, and then you got to be afraid, like, I might lose my kids, who I love, who I take care of, who I buy all this shit for, who is my world. And the government hamstrings you to try to make those kids into decent people. And now, you got the government trying to take shit away from the adults because kids are breaking the law. That's fucked up, man. And I'm a big proponent of legalizing weed, so there's some kind of regulations to it. But we're going to take away vaping, nicotine, small stimulant that's almost no different than caffeine. Proven. I don't care what happens. I've been stocking up. I got so much shit stocked up. If I have to, I'll go to some other kind of platform and I'll figure out a way to get it out and I'll start making my own shit and we'll call it Raging Rob's Boom Boom Juice or something. I don't know. I just had to get that shit out there. It's just, man, stuff drives me nuts, man. Stuff drives me nuts. It's just the stupidity of it all. These people that are running our country are supposed to be smart. They're supposed to be taking care of us. They're supposed to be looking out for our best interests. But it doesn't seem that way, does it? And I don't care who you are. I don't care what side you're on. If you really, really look at it, they're not looking at anybody's best interest but themselves. Maybe we should be looking at term limits for certain people. Maybe we should be looking at, like, if you come from a family, a political family, and your family's been doing nothing but politics for 2 generations, you can't be in it. You got to live like a normal, everyday American. You got to live like the normal, middle-class person and maybe figure out what's really going on with this country. Because fighting and spending all this money on a stupid impeachment, fighting and spending all this money over e-juice, when we've got people dying from opioid overdoses every day. We got people dying from cigarette-related illnesses every day. We got kids being... Dude, over the past weekend, right? There was like 2 kids shot and killed. There was an 11-year-old kid shot and killed at a birthday party. But e-juice, e-cigarettes, and vaping, that's our big issue. Millions of homeless out there, and this is the big issue. This is what's on the forefront. This is what's in the media. There's something fucked up with that, and there's something wrong with that. And if you don't see it, I'm sorry, but there is. For sure. You guys have a nice day.